In this video, I'm looking at my Olividae collection, and I'll comment about different shells in each drawer. This first drawer, I'll look at some of the larger ones. Porphyria, specimens there from Mexico and Panama. That largest one is 119 millimeters. Incrustata from the US and Mexico, that largest one there is 91 centimeters. Another large shell here is Tremulina fumosa, 95 centimeters, and Sericea at 96. There's a group down here of Amethystina and Annulata. I've got lots of others coming up in another drawer. That shows a lot more variety, but that's just a group I've kept together there. A couple of those lovely broad shells down the front is Tigrina. A lot of these over here are Viduas. Nice lot of forms there with zigzags, the black, this sort of yellowy, green, mustardy type colour. Black specimens there, they're all Viduas. And then we've got Orisons over here. Interesting similar colour range to what we've got with the Viduas in that black, and then that sort of, I'm not sure how to describe that colour, mustard, yellow, brown, orangey, and then there's a white specimen tucked in there as well. Just aware of the time, a few other ones quickly. Parkinson eye, very popular shell there. Beautiful little fox eye there, the specimen just there. Almost looks like a miniature voluta eye. And another favourite of mine just there is Beloe. Now in this next drawer, I'll show you the contents and talk about a few shells. As I talked about, there's more Annulatas there. Lots of different forms. Carnicola and Alba are very popular. The Carnicolas here, the Alba forms here, and then lots of different patterns, orangey ones there with pattern. And then we come over here and we get to the Amelistinas, and you can see from the cameloplat, the markings on the cameloplat, that distinguishes them from the Annulata. They get very close in terms of pattern and shape, but with that particular marking there, you can distinguish the species. Over here, Peruviana, from species there from Chile, from Peru. There's a number of different colour forms, subspecies. Very popular shell down here. Splendidula from Panama, beautiful shell, that beautiful patterns. Next to it is another very beautiful shell, Rubra labiata from New Caledonia, and next to it is the form Fortuna from Wallis and Fortuna Islands. So that's quite a difficult shell to obtain because of its isolated location. Other ones I'll just point out, Bifasciata stands out from Florida. Julietta is a popular one. The large one there is from West Panama. The smaller one is from Peru. And there's quite a few Cyanas here. Of note, the Citrina form there, and then a couple of, they get larger, but they're the largest ones I've got at about 7 centimeters, and also quite a few other US shells down there. And one other one I'll point out is Duclossi from Tahiti. Quite a common shell in Tahiti. If you've had fortune to go there, it's one that you're very likely to find. In this next drawer, I'll scan it again. Just aware of the time, I'll try and get through these shells quickly. Lots of bulbosa and lots of colour forms of bulbosa. And there's just in that lot gives you a nice range of colours. So I must have at least a dozen containers there of bulbosa, different forms, different colours. Carniola, very popular shell. I'll just show, I think most of the ones I've got are in this drawer, and they come from Papua New Guinea, East New Britain, Queensland, Indonesia, and Philippines are the specimens that I have. Also, Consini, those two down here, so we've got that one there, lovely black one, and then that beautiful orange one. And if we have a look over here, that black one there, very common Olividae, and they come in all sorts of colour forms. And the last one I'll point out here is this one, Mustelina, which is a particular colour form that I've only ever found in a beach called Half Moon Bay in Queensland. Next drawer. Sorry about the light with some of those. This particular drawer, a lot of Miniacea at the top, many different colour forms. Varieties, probably the two of the most popular is Sylvia and Fasciata. Lovely orange, the lovely mauve purple band. The largest one I've got here is 108 millimeters, and the one next to it, the left of it, that one there, that's the largest one I've got from Australia, and that is 84 millimeters. If we look down at some common northern Australian shell, probably the most common right across the top of Australia is Lignaria. There we have shells from WA, from Queensland, and my local selection is there. Interesting, it hasn't got the variation of locations like Broome and they represent quite a few different locations. Also of note here, tricolour from the Northern Territory. And I talked about Lignaria probably being the most common shell across Northern Australia. Then we have Australis, which is probably the most common shell across olive shell across southern Australia. And there's quite a few, sorry about my hand, there's quite a few varieties there. And I've got shells from South Australia, Victoria. Just aware of the time to get through these quickly. So now we're moved on to groups like Amalda and Olivilla. It's Angaria. So we'll have a look at some of these in here. I'll start with a little shell that I'm calling that I found locally. I'm comparing it with Hilgendorfi. Then we've got perhaps one of the most common Amaldas we get in Northern Australia. There, and Varieties Hellurae, some smaller specimens there, and some nice large specimens here. The largest specimen I've got measures I'm just looking it up, 106 millimeters, which is in the next drawer. So I'll just point out a few very quickly. Got those lovely orange, yellow, white shells, which is Glabrata and Leonardi. Olive and Cilia, those interesting ones there, some interesting colours there with, there's a nice little range of colours, white, orange and in between. So some lovely ones there, and at the top there we've got a range of Angarias. And I just wanted to point out a couple of unusual ones. I put this pseudo-oliva there, pseudo-oliva crassa from Angola, and one that's quite well known, this one here, Malapium lineatum from South Africa. Now my final draw, I'm going to focus mainly on the Ancylisters. So we've got here Muscae, which ranges from WA to NT to Queensland. The largest one there is 55 millimeters from Lee Point in the Northern Territory. Then we've got Cingulata, this particular type here. Those ones which I have from WA and NT, the largest specimen, extremely large specimen for this species, 109 millimeters from Port Hedland. Then we've also got, I'm not sure what to properly name this because there's quite a few different labels for it. And the largest one there is 4 centimeters, Bonaparte Gulf and Column Bay. They are found in the NT and in Indonesia. And then this one, which is a bit like Cingulata, but just different colouring. And Velesiana, the largest one there is with the operculum is 99 millimeters, and they're from Queensland. And I'll just quickly point out a couple of others. Lovely Amalda there from WA, from off Geraldton, Amalda concincta, and then a couple of unusual Olividae. There we have Zemura australis, and there we have Zemura, just here, Zemura bordala.